Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The market is doing what the market does. Wow, John Deaton lays down some issues with the library. It's very, very interesting in the summary judgment. And I think he's correct. And what the SEC Chair Gensler is going to use, I did not realize that the library case was about a couple $100,000 raise, a $200,000 or $300,000 raise. Oh my gosh! I mean, I get it; it's a raise, but $200,000 or $300,000, and you got all of these pump and dump schemes and frauds and ripoffs in the tens of millions and hundreds of millions that the SEC just flat out ignores, and they go over a library for a $200,000 raise in an ICO. Oh man, that is absolutely brutal. We'll go over the market. Crypto Eddie laid down something that I've seen this before, but she is right about the chair or co-president, president. I don't know what she is of the Blockchain Association and not having an opinion on Ripple. We'll cover that as well. It's just that it speaks to what Charles Hoskinson has said, and that when he was at that event that all the big wigs and stuff go to. I forget the name of the event, but he had said that he had heard for a fact and been told for a fact that Bitcoin people in the space had been telling prominent members of Congress that there's only one crypto, and the only crypto you need is Bitcoin, and everything else you don't need. Is sad. And I don't know who's paying the Blockchain Association, but the fact that she would say that, I'll show the video, is very, very disturbing, that she said she would not have a position. Yeah, it's pretty disturbing for sure. So we'll go over that as well. Some updates on Celsius Network and what the UCC is doing, moving fast and making big moves. Not only do they have a law firm, but they got some financial advisors as well. They got an investment banker already set up as well, which is really, really cool for depositors. So great to see that. Guys, listen, this is XRP Ripple Daily News in around 0 to 10 minutes. Let's look at this market. I was looking at it earlier, but I'm going to refresh it just in case, so we got the latest and the greatest. Total cryptocurrency market cap is at 1.14 trillion again. It's down from 3 trillion. The Bitcoin dominance is at 38.8%. Haven't seen it below 39% in a while. Bitcoin is at $23,221. Ethereum is trading at $1,714. And XRP is trading at 37.5 cents. Some 7-day double-figure greens in the market flow at 40%. Filecoin at 56%. Interestingly enough, but again, the total cryptocurrency market cap is down from 3 trillion to 1.14 trillion. Let us just not forget. Make it be fresh, put something out here. Update on misinformation regarding Chris Larsen resigning from Ripple Labs board of directors. He says it's 100% false. Document that's been circulating, not Ripple Inc., but one of many subsidiaries. XRP2 LLC holds NYS, New York State bit license. This ends the baseless, unrelated speculating of a settlement. As far as him, this quote unquote resignation and settlement. Settlement's coming. Right, but that ain't it. There's a tweet, just in case for all the Celsius out there that maybe still be following. Celsius official committee of unsecured creditors here says Elementus is excited to represent the unsecured creditors committee, working with White and Case LLP, who is a law firm that the UCC, the unsecured creditors committee, which is made up of Celsius depositors, 7 of them. White and Case LLP, Perella Weinberg Partners, and M3 Partners. In connection with the Celsius voluntary Chapter 11 proceeding, I believe M3 Partners might be the bank But it's good to see that things are moving very fast, very quick by this UCC. That is very nice to see. And trust me when I tell you that both the judge, the federal judge overseeing this case, and the trustee will very much appreciate the professionalism going on here with the UCC. They also say a UCC win for account holders after the threat of depositors and a UCC objection. Celsius Network withdrew their insider retention motion. They tried to hire back the CFO, previous CFO, and kind of sad to see that happen. So Real PWP is the investment banker. So sad to see that that happened. That was an attempt. I don't know who's running the show there at Celsius. I don't know if it's Alex. I don't know if it's the law firm there. They're getting paid for a job to do, and it's not looking at their job is not to look out for depositors. I'm really concerned about cell token holders who seem to be still in disbelief, still don't want to believe the real deal. And that is, at this point, whether it be Alex and the law firm or the law firm, I don't know which one, but they're not looking out for depositors. Whatever plan comes up is not in the best interest of depositors. I just hope that more and more people can come to that realization. I hope. The Celsius UCC has selected Elements.io and M3 Partners as financial advisors and Real WP as its investment banker for the Celsius Network. And I'm not sure why we need an investment banker, but in any case, there it is. Empire Oversight, I covered this before, files an amendment complaint and a lawsuit against the SEC. Empire Oversight files an amended complaint and a lawsuit in the Eastern District of Virginia because guess who's not cooperating? Yeah, you guessed it, the SEC. They want them to turn over more documents. The SEC is refusing to turn over these documents. All right, so Simon Dixon commented on the latest thing from the UCC. That saves us a chunk of money. Well done, UCC. Notice of withdrawal, Celsius Network motion to enter into an advisory agreement with the ex-CEO, Rob Boger. So they took that out. So the former CFO, Rob Boger, that whole thing is done. I went over that. Very, very, very interesting. So Texas state regulators are just not happy with Celsius Network. Says here, Texas State Security Board objecting to how Celsius can use Bitcoin from the mining business. So yeah, the state regulators, again, not happy. Simon Dixon says, I did say regulators would object. The Texas State Securities Board is extremely concerned. He did say that. Simon Dixon did say, you know, you can't forget that the state regulators from 4 states are heavily involved in this case, because these are the 4 to 5 that filed the cease and desist that Celsius Network didn't acknowledge or adhere to. Texas State Securities Board is extremely concerned of Celsius Network asset deployment decisions, using the mined Bitcoin to repay intercompany loans, potential mismanagement, and a continued failure to comply with state regulatory requirements, unquote. So this was a quote, unquote, from the Texas State Securities Board. So Crypto Eddie put this out. And this is, you know, this is a video here where this lady here is just Perry Ann. I don't know, I guess it's Perry Ann Boring. And I don't know who this dude is from B Messing from Skybridge. It's just not a great look from B Messing. And I mean from Perry Ann Boring from the Blockchain Association, the DC-based Blockchain Association. So this is not Paramount. This is K.M. Smith. This is Kristen Smith. I'm sorry, not Perry Ann, Kristen Smith. Executive Director of the Blockchain Association Board Director. I'm not going to play it, but she says she doesn't have an opinion on the Ripple versus the SEC versus Ripple case. She doesn't have a position on it. Is very, very disturbing because they're saying that the digital asset XRP sold by Ripple, sold by you and I in the secondary market or whatever is security. And for her not to have a position on it is very, very disturbing, to say the least. And then you hear this guy be messing, just say the dumbest thing ever. Like he doesn't understand lawsuits and how they work. Like literally in a lawsuit, you could talk about my mother, I could talk about your mother, I could talk about their kids, and none of it has to be factual. Literally nothing in the complaint has to be factual. You could just say, you could stretch, or you could stretch elements of the truth to the 100th power. So this dude talking about how, you know, the allegations don't look great and how Ripple, the company, is not a great representation for the digital asset space is lunacy. Let's just take a listen.
You know, the SEC brought an enforcement action against Ripple, and there's a lot of eyes on this. And, you know, right, the big question is whether or not Ripple, which is one of the larger, for those who don't know, it's one of the larger cryptocurrencies, whether the sale was essentially an unregistered sale of securities, and it's looking to hold the founders personally liable as well. It's getting a lot of attention. It's supposed to go to trial in August. Do you have a view on that? I guess what it might mean for the industry? Big deal, little deal, no deal?
Yeah, no, I think we don't have a position on sort of the specifics of the case itself. Though I would say one of the things I you know, people have very mixed opinions on Ripple. I'm happy to have them as a member of the Blockchain Association.
Well, I'll say something a teeny bit more controversial, which is, you know, just by analogy, the civil rights community selected Rosa Parks. She was like a very specific choice to be the face of that movement. I don't think the Ripple folks are the best face of this movement for the crypto. I think the atmospherics in the case, the details of the case, you know, don't paint a flattering pictures at all times. So you know, I think the issues at play here are significant, and I wish there weren't. I wish there was a better fact set than the one that the case presents. So, you know.
Yeah, and it's just lunacy. Like the dude didn't take any time to really check out the facts of it. It's absolutely lunacy. She says, Crypto Eddie says, atrocious. John Deaton responds and says, what specifics of the case do you not have a position? The SEC is arguing without legal precedent to back it up that XRP itself is a security. It is specifically arguing that secondary market sales of XRP are securities. This implicates the entire market. This implicates the entire market. And unfortunately, people like Kristen Smith don't understand it. They think this is just about Ripple and the digital asset XRP. And also, they are, on the other hand, they feel very, very confident about Bitcoin just being clean of everything, even though people from the Homeland Security say they know the creators of Bitcoin and they know who Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Those creators, 4 people are. No one's ever going to say that. We'll see if anybody in mainstream media, let's see if anybody from Congress, let's see if anybody from the digital asset space besides XRP holders will even bring it up. That the Homeland Security said they met with the people who make up Satoshi Nakamoto, right? Because it's a group of people. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. John Deaton lays it down, but that's really, really sad. Synopsis of the SEC versus Library summary judgment transcript of John Deaton says, as I said during Crypto Law's live stream after watching the SEC Library summary judgment argument, below is my biggest criticism and observation along with direct quotes from the hearing. The judge asked the SEC's lawyer, do you concede that there is what I think LBRY is calling a consumptive use? SEC lawyer says, we do, Your Honor. Not for their entire time of the offering. The court, when does something that has a consumptive use and that the LBRY would say is a commodity shade into its security? SEC lawyer says, well, Your Honor, I first would say you don't start with the presumption that something is a commodity. You apply the Howey test first. The court, I think it's undeniable that people are acquiring LBC for investment reasons. I think it's undeniable that people are acquiring LBC for consumptive reasons. How do I determine in a case where some investors are acquiring for consumptive and some for investment? The court continues, how do I determine whether in that case it meets the first component of the third element of the Howey test? SEC lawyer, Your Honor, I agree, it's a tricky problem, not fully addressed by the law. SEC lawyer continues, and in fact, there's a third possibility, which is that if someone buys 1,000, LBC wanted to spend 10 and hold on to 990. The SEC lawyer then began to argue that the token's purchases of subjective intent is not important. The SEC lawyer goes on to say whether the token has utility or not, whether the token has utility is not important. The SEC lawyer said, I think it comes out, can a reasonable purchaser expect profit? It's not do they, it's can they. The court says, I agree, it's not do they. I agree, it's can they. The court said that. So the judge. Not great. Not great. Now, I know everyone's saying there's different cases but the SEC, if they win a summary judgment, that statement right there is just not great for LBRY. I agree, it's not do they, it's can they. I think it comes out, can a reasonable purchaser expect to profit? And the judge says, I agree, it's not if do they profit, it's can they. So not a great look at all, for sure. So in any case, I'm going to wrap that video up with that. I think John Deaton is spot on. The SEC, again, this LBRY raise was a couple $100,000. There are hacks going on in the digital asset space in the tens to hundreds of million, pump and dump schemes, fraud, and they went out their LBRY because it was a small company with limited resources for a couple $100,000 raise, couple $100,000 raise, so that they can get a win, and then they're going to argue that win if they get it in the Ripple case. And maybe even appeal after Ripple wins or whatever. I don't know. It's nasty. And you can use this, they can use that win if they get at the SEC in other cases. Doesn't have to be in a Ripple one, they can use it in other ones. Yeah. So not a great look. All right, guys, look, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, if you're enjoying the hangout. It's a very, very interesting time in the digital asset space. Hashtag Gary Gensler is not your friend is obviously in, I feel like he's boxed in a corner because it's very, very obvious that Congress is looking to do anything they can to relieve the SEC of significant part of their power over this and presence and oversight over the digital asset space. It is very, very obvious. And so Gary Gensler is definitely scrambling because, again, this has turned more, it's about his legacy, and he's losing, right? He's losing. You got people from traditional finances like Citadel, and I believe in even BlackRock calling out the SEC in terms of give us some clarity in this space. That's not a great look. And this BlackRock Coinbase thing, I will just add, number one, it's not a partnership, right? If you got a local grocery store that you go to every 2 weeks, every month on a consistent basis, and you go to get your food there, doesn't mean you're in partnership, right? So the partnership was a little misleading by Coinbase, for sure, right? BlackRock's not taking capital out of there, right, and investing in Coinbase, right? It's access to crypto. It's access to crypto. So the partnership thing is a little misleading in terms of the coin, COIN stock. I believe it's very misleading, but I do think that BlackRock this is a proof of concept for them, I believe, right? Because you can change your grocer anytime you want, right? So I think this is a proof of concept for BlackRock. See how things go, see how smooth it is, maybe get a little bit more on the inside because maybe potentially they're looking to purchase Coinbase on the cheap. The SEC thing is still there in terms of Coinbase, and who knows, right? There might be potential bankruptcies going on. Who knows? But BlackRock is very, 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 very smart, and it's going to be years before they put any significant money into crypto. Years, in my humble opinion. So not a partnership, but like a vendor type relationship, if you will. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to end this video like I do all of my videos. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell so you know when we do go live or upload a video. I'm going to end this one like I do all my videos and remind you guys of this.
Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it.